During the era of Dragon Ball Z, there was literally no question of who was stronger between Goku and Vegito. It was self-evident. Vegito was Goku not only better in every way, but literally multiplied by Vegeta, one of the most powerful other characters in the story. He could use all of Goku and Vegeta's techniques, plus a few of his own, and at the time we still believed that fusion was permanent. Even at his very strongest of Super Saiyan 3, Goku would still be inferior in power to Vegito's base form. In short, Vegito was the strongest. No contest. However, in the era of Dragon Ball Super, things have changed. While Vegito appeared yet again with a new form and infinitely greater power than before, his appearance was no longer the final arc of the story. Dragon Ball Super's anime continued on, and a whole entire arc afterwards in which Goku got stronger and achieved brand new forms. We could truly ask, for the first time since the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, did Goku surpass Vegito? This video will attempt to answer two separate but intrinsically related questions. Did Goku, during the Tournament of Power, surpass Vegito Blue from the Goku Black arc, and if so, when? As answering the first question answers the second, we will essentially be killing two Krillins with one Frieza. Of course, when it comes to Dragon Ball scaling, and especially Dragon Ball Super, there are multiple ways to scale a character, and we will be scaling Vegito Blue reasonably, and then taking the highest possible interpretations of him, and then the lowest possible interpretations to see where he compares to Goku. And I will ultimately let you guys be the judge of where you think Vegito ends up. Firstly, I think it's important to do a brief overview of Potara fusion, because some people have some misconceptions about how it works. As a baseline, the Potara fusion between people will always be more powerful than a fusion dance of two people. As it has been described, it is multiplying the power of these characters in both instances, with Potara being superior A times B somehow. For Goku and Vegeta, this multiplier is even higher because they are rivals, meaning that Vegito is stronger than a hypothetical Gokan fusion because of it. While yes, this oftentimes put that character's base form over the strongest form of their components, base Vegito being stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, this is not an inherent trait of Potara fusion. Look at it this way. You have two guys whose power level are both 50. When they fuse, their power levels become 2,500. While this fusion is stronger than their base forms, if one of these characters goes Super Saiyan 2, their power levels would be 5,000 and be technically able to surpass the fusion, at least in base. While yes, the fusion would also be able to use that form, I'm just showing that at least in base, the fusions can be surpassed by their components. This is why in Battle of Gods, fusion was weaker than Super Saiyan God, but in Broly, fusion was stronger than Super Saiyan God, because base Goku and Vegeta had both become a lot stronger, and so the fusion multiplier became higher. Regardless though, for this video, that doesn't really matter, given how in the Tournament of Power, Goku has forms that Black Arc Vegito cannot use, namely Ultra Instinct. With a better understanding of what Potara fusion is and isn't, let's go into how strong Vegito is during the Black Arc. Obviously, the most important person we have to compare Vegito to is Zamasu, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions in Vegito's power comes from the singular fight that the two of them have, with many people thinking Vegito is the stronger one of the two by the end of the fight. At the start of the battle, Vegito is stronger, and some product statements of dubious officiality say as much. He negates Zamasu's ki attacks and completely stabs through him with the Z-Sword. However, as Zamasu grows stronger and larger, Vegito begins to do less and less damage to him, his only advantage becoming speed as Zamasu gets slower because he's getting larger. By the end of the fight, Zamasu just flies out of Vegito's Kamehameha completely unscathed, the narration going as far to say that Vegito putting in as much strength as possible was not having an effect on Zamasu at all. So ultimately, I think it's pretty consistent that while Vegito Blue is massively more powerful than Blue Goku and Vegeta during the Black Arc, he is inferior to Merge Zamasu at the peak of his power. So when does Goku actually surpass Merge Zamasu? When Goku throws the Universal Spirit Bomb at Jiren, Shin notes that the power Jiren is using to push it back surpasses the power of any opponent who's come before, essentially saying that Jiren at this level of strength pushing back the Spirit Bomb is enough power to already surpass Merge Zamasu at his peak. Goku goes on to fall into the Spirit Bomb and unlock Ultra Instinct Sign for the first time. Very importantly, it's noted that Goku's current strength is way higher if he had just absorbed the total energy of the bomb. Goku goes on to fight Jiren and grow even stronger in his Ultra Instinct state. Thus, even by the first appearance of Ultra Instinct, Goku has surpassed the level of power of Fused Zamasu, and thus also the power of Vegito Blue. During the tournament, this notion is just made more and more clear, with guides saying that Jiren is the strongest enemy, and both Goku and Vegeta saying Jiren is stronger or hits them harder than anyone before while fighting him in base and blue respectively. Both Goku and Vegeta had since merged Zamasu and taken attacks from him, so this is a pretty direct comparison. So that was what I honestly think is the reasonable and correct interpretation of everyone's strength involved. However, we can use other less reliable guides and statements of some scenes to get Vegito a bit higher and a bit lower in comparison to Goku. For the high-level interpretation of Vegito, we will assume that he was indeed stronger than Zamasu up until the end of this fight. We then can take the interview statement that Zamasu has unrivaled power and say that this is talking about the gods of destruction. Following this logic, this means that Goku does not surpass Vegito until his third time using Ultra Instinct, when he forces Jiren to use his power and surpasses Beerus, putting him drastically higher than the gods, as even suppressed Jiren was above the gods. For a lower end, right before defusing, fatigued base Goku and Vegeta take a punch from Zamasu and live. Punches from a weaker Zamasu were able to match attacks from Vegito Blue. Simply put, Goku and Vegeta both respectively, while in a weaker form than Vegito, essentially tank a Vegito level or higher attack, or in other words, instantly surpass him. This might further be supported by the fact that once Zamasu fuses with the universe and becomes infinite Zamasu, Goku seems to think that having a Senzu Bean would be enough to make a difference in the fight against Zamasu, despite Vegito not being able to damage a weaker version of him. Now, a lot of people argue that due to Ultra Instinct having a shorter time frame in which Goku can use his power before losing the form, that Vegito can simply outlast him and win. Ignoring Vegito's own time limit, we see that when Goku is fighting Kefla, a fusion strong enough to kill him in a single hit, he still manages to beat and overpower her due to Ultra Instinct's ability to dodge as well as its outright strength. And I think this is also a really important aspect of this matchup. Ultra Instinct Goku is constantly adapting and evolving to the opponents he's fighting, starting off strong and only becoming stronger. This was the exact type of opponent that Vegito Blue couldn't defeat. By this time, I'd argue that Ultra Instinct Goku is not only starting off stronger, but growing just as rapidly, if not more rapidly, than Zamasu was. Even something like the combination of skills between Goku and Vegeta in the Black Arc would still be inferior to Ultra Instinct, unless you really think the Spirit Sword or the Final Kamehameha are more powerful or useful abilities than the automatic fighting, growth, and dodging that even Ultra Instinct Sign can provide. At the end of the day, really regardless of where you scale Vegito, he just doesn't have the tools or the ability to defeat Goku at some point during the Tournament of Power. So, what do you think? I think Vegito got surpassed the moment Goku went Ultra Instinct for the first time, but I've laid out other options, so let me know where you think they scale in comparison to each other. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to let me know how I'm wrong in the comments down below. See ya!